to have this conversation with you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, for
Thank
sure.
you for having me.
Yes, no problem. Absolutely. We're gonna hop right in. So, for everybody who does not know, this is Kyra Knox. She is a two-time Emmy-nominated director. Uh, which, by the way, I happened to watch your documentary, "The Untold Story of Willow Grove," I believe. That thing, I said, okay, it was so good. I really enjoyed just your choices with like the camera work and everything, and even the story in it of itself. I think it's really powerful, and I feel like having art that really speaks to not just surface level things, but it's much deeper. I think we need more of that kind of work being released for sure. So
Thank you. I hope we
yeah,
win the Emmy tomorrow for it. That's when
what'd you
I
say?
find
I'm sorry.
out. I hope we win the Emmy tomorrow for it. That's when I find out
Yes.
tomorrow.
Yes, yes. We just speaking that for sure. Absolutely. So my first question for you is what were your beginning stages like within filmmaking? Because I right now we see like what's happening right now. Like there's a lot of buzz, a lot of publicity, like your demand is increased. But what was it like for you in your beginning stages?
First of all, I know what I was doing. um, but I got into the industry very late. I actually started out my journey as an actor when I was 6 years old at Freedom Theater. I went to
Wow.
Kappa as a theater major. I performed off Broadway. And then when my grandfather passed away, when I was 19 years old, I actually quit the art. So it wasn't until I got engaged in my 30s that I started going back into the arts, and that's when I did my one woman show on Theater Row. But around that same time, an old friend of mine was like, Kyra, can you produce my short film? And I was like, well, what does a producer do? So I actually took a $70 course at Philly Cam,
Wow.
which anyone that wants to get into filmmaking, Philly Cam, low price classes, and they really was instrumental to my journey, because I didn't go to film school, and a lot of people don't know that I did not go to film school,
Mhm.
and so I took classes there, and then my husband came home. I was 34. My husband came home. I was crying. He was like, what's wrong? I was like, can I quit my job to
Wow.
be in the because I want to be a producer. And he said, give me 90 days. So I actually gave him I actually walked into my corporate office the very next day, and I gave them 90 days notice that I was quitting my job. And around that same time, I got hired to be an actor at a production company. I started helping them out. And the founder was like, oh, like, what are you into? And I said, well, I quit my job because I want to follow my dreams and I want to be a producer. And he said, well, do you want to work here one day a week? So my journey into filmmaking actually started at 34, and now I'm 41. Um, and within that first year, they were asking me to cast for these docu-series. I didn't know how to cast, but I figured it out.
Mhm.
Looked for stories of black and brown people, to show us in a different light. Um, and they ended up loving that. Next thing you know, I'm producing. Next thing you know, I'm directing. And within the first year of me quitting my corporate job, I ended up winning 2 silver tellies for my work. So,
Wow. Hold
yeah.
on, we gotta slow that down. I know we're short on time, but okay. So
Sorry, I know that
Kyra.
was a mouthful.
No, no, no. I'm taking it in. I'm understanding it. When it comes to like you taking the risk though at 34, how did you even have like the courage to do that? Because some folk are out here like I'm 50, I'm 60, I'm 40, and I have this dream, I have this desire, but I don't know if I can take the risk. I don't know like what will happen when I take the leap. So what was it within you that just knew like once I do this, things will work out?
I mean, well, you know, life is not a rehearsal, is what I
Mm-hmm.
always tell people. Life is not a rehearsal, so this is showtime. You just gotta get up and you just gotta do it, and you never want to be, 80, 90, 100 and say, man,
Hmm.
I just wish I would at least tried, you
Hmm.
know. And my thing was like, I can always get another corporate job if it didn't work out,
Yeah.
but why not try? I was miserable at my job, you know. I was dealing with a lot of passive aggressiveness at my job,
Yeah.
a lot of low key racism
Mm.
at my job. So I was in this place that I was just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to try. And thank God it worked out, because what if I never took that leap of faith,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Then I wouldn't be here talking to you right now.
Mm.
So I took a leap of faith. And honestly, once I took that leap of faith, it's like things just started going into motion
Mhm.
organically, and it just started happening quick. So
Yeah.
if I could do it at 34, I tell all women out there, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you're married, it doesn't matter if you have kids, it doesn't matter any of those things. Just do it. Just
Hmm.
try.
Wow. This is great. Wow. This is amazing. I want to know, as far as your journey, from the first film that you directed, um, to now, that in between period, was it a consistent set of wins? Like, were you constantly in this space of progression, or did you ever have moments where you doubted the choice that you made?
Oh my God, I always doubt my choices. I
Man,
mean, even when I look at my feature documentary, Bad Things Happen in Philadelphia,
yeah.
all I see is my mistakes.
Wow. Wow.
Um, but I will say that yes, I've directed films and produced films, but I tell people, what helped me out is that I also do projects for corporate companies,
Hmm.
their
Hmm.
videos. I
Yeah.
do videos for nonprofits. I do some commercial work. And honestly, that's how I ended up finding my tribe. Those jobs that aren't as, you know, um, exciting. That's
Hmm.
really how I ended up finding my film squad. But I always doubt myself, and I think, as a creative, that's normal. We always want to do better and better and better, but a lot of friends tell me, Kyra, celebrate your small wins and stop nitpicking everything.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
it's hard because we
Right.
want to be perfectionists.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what is not perfect to us, to other people, they think is amazing. You just have to take that in.
Yep. And I find that even people who are really gifted in like their craft, we tend to be our own worst critic. But then
Yes.
like you'll have a project release, you'll have a shoot, and people are like, I'm in awe, I'm amazed. This is amazing what you're doing. And so that's just a testament that even though you're having those doubts, people are still highly, highly encouraged by your work, for sure.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
imposter syndrome, it gets to you. I try to
Yeah.
tell you. I have very, very bad imposter syndrome, which I'm really getting better at
Yeah.
working with. Yeah.
Well, let's continue with that. So, the rooms that you've been in, the spaces that you've been a part of that may seem larger than you, how are you navigating that when you're in these rooms and you're winning shorty awards and you're in front of cameras and red carpets, all the things, like how are you able to just push through and push past those feelings?
Oh man, when I had my very first commercial gig, it was for Chevrolet,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to direct Terrence J, my first like right. And I walk onto set and I see like there's a crew of 30 plus people. Then you have the agency, then you have the talent manager, then you have the cast, and then
Yeesh.
so it had to been like 60 plus people on that set that were going to be looking at me for
Mm-hmm.
answers. The first thing I did was go to the bathroom and throw up.
And
And then
I would do the same.
I and then I had like that Issa Rae moment where you
Yeah.
talking to the mirror, like
Yep.
insecure. And I was like, Kyra, you got this. You got this.
Wow.
If you weren't the person that was the right person for this job. You would not have been chosen.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself. You got this. And I
Yep.
had to give myself a pep talk. Then I called my husband because I need that secondary pep talk.
Hmm.
And then I went down there and I got through it. So and ended up winning a bronze Addy and a Mosaic Award for that campaign. So you just sometimes have to give yourself that pep talk, and you
Hmm.
gotta push through that imposter syndrome so that way you're not talking yourself out of amazing opportunities.
Yeah. And how does that translate for you on set when you are directing? Like, is there a hat switch? Like, the moment you step on set, I know what I'm doing. I've got this. Like, I'm fully confident. Or are you still battling that when you get on set?
I surround myself with people that I trust on
Mm.
set.
Okay.
And that makes a huge, huge, huge difference.
Yeah.
So my DP, my director of photography,
Hmm.
is someone that I trust. Someone that if I'm struggling to work something out, work a scene out, I
Yes.
know that my DP has my back. I know that my first AD has my back. I know that my producer
Mm.
has my back. So I really surround myself with people that I trust. And I'm also I'm not a director that is like it's my way and a highway. I'm a very collaborative director as well because I strongly believe that there are things that, for example, my DP might see that I might not see,
Hmm.
and why shut myself off from some extra creativity. So I think that helps out a lot as well.
And this is like for myself, honestly. This question is for me. What is your style of directing? Are you someone that sticks to storyboarding and structure, or are you more instinctive? I asked that because I was watching Ava DuVernay's documentary. Well, she did behind the scenes for her film Origin, and she was talking about like her style in that instance because it was low budgeted and they didn't have a lot of resources, so it was more instinctual. But for you, like, are you someone who, depending on the project, you'll have storyboard, or is it all just based off instinct?
It depends on the project.
Okay.
So, for example, Chevrolet,
Mm-hmm.
that's a commercial spot, right? So
Yeah.
I have to have storyboards. I have to make sure I'm hitting everything. And
Yeah.
then once I got everything in that the agency and the client what they want, if
Mm-hmm.
I have time left over, then I'll start following my instincts. But when I'm doing documentary work, I always tell people I'm a spontaneous director
Mm-hmm.
and I go by what inspires me. So even when I'm writing out my interview questions, yeah, like that's my structure. But
Yeah.
then I'm listening
Yeah.
to the answers, and then I always end up going off of what the person is saying, and then as they're giving me things that they're saying, then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna grab this for B-roll. I'm gonna grab this for B-roll.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you watched Untold Story of Malcolm.
Yes. Yep.
At the end when the pastor is saying the prayer,
Yeah.
that was never in my plan, ever in my
Wow.
plan. And
I
then
was wondering. I was curious. I was like, is he just going? I'm like, okay,
that
okay.
was not in my plan.
Wow.
I found out that one of his ancestors were buried there. And
Wow.
me knowing that he used to be the pastor,
Mm-hmm.
I said to him, I said, would you mind leading us in prayer, right by your ancestors?
Mm-hmm.
And we just framed it up, and
Mm-hmm.
as you can see, that ended up being the end with his powerful prayer.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very spontaneous. I follow the story, and that's what I
Mm-hmm.
love about documentary filmmaking, because you never know where the story is going to go.
For sure. When it comes to like casting vision for your group, for your staff, um, what is most important to you? How are you able to communicate what you want from your people, so that they're able to catch it, gravitate, connect to it, and then translate for you?
Are you asking me about casting actors? Can you rephrase the question a little bit for
Yeah,
me?
so more so for the people that are behind the scenes. So when you have a particular vision that you have in mind for what you want to create, how are you able to communicate that to
Mhm.
the people that are capturing it so that it can become what you want it to be?
Got it. One of the things that I do when I have time,
Mm-hmm.
is that I create a mood board. And I pick stills that show exactly what I'm trying to convey on
Mm-hmm.
screen. Um, Another thing I do when I have time, is I try to do a scout,
Mm-hmm.
so that helps out as well. And I always like to do pre-interviews
Yeah.
too, because that gives me an idea of what we can capture. It also depends on my surroundings, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, with Bad Things Happen in Philadelphia, we all knew, like, I wanted grit. I wanted it to be raw. I didn't want it to be so perfect, you know,
Right.
because that's not what Philly is, you
Yeah.
know.
Yep.
um, so one of the things I do is, depending on where I'm filming, I also use that city as a character as well.
Mm.
And that also helps me establish my look and feel. And you know, I'm really blessed that the crew that I work with, a lot of times they're the same crew, so they already know, like, Kyra's gonna want this or Kyra's gonna want
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah. And what is your encouragement for people that desire to be in spaces in the industry, but they are feeling like they do not have the connection or they don't have the resource? What is your encouragement?
Oh man, I tell people, you're not gonna find your community just by sitting at home. You
Mm-hmm.
actually have to get out and meet people.
Yeah.
You know, I am a advisor. I see my fellow advisor Aaron in there, but for example, I'm advisor for a video consortium, and excuse me, I have braces, so I'm probably not saying that last. Aaron, type it out for me because I can't get the second word out because of these braces. Um, but I'm a part of I'm an advisor for that, where we actually get people together in the Philadelphia community filmmakers, so that way you can meet people. If you're a woman filmmaker,
Mm-hmm.
then you know we have P with. We also have Philly Rough Cuts. We also have Philly Camp. There are sort, and again, it's there we go. Thank you, Aaron. You just put what I'm an advisor on. It's another community that we have. So you're not going to find your community just by sitting on the couch, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and just being on Instagram or threads or anything like that. You really have to get out and you have to meet people face to face. And that's what I did. And that's how I met so many amazing people here in Philly, because if I wasn't out there, I would have never got my start in this
Mm-hmm.
industry. You know, you also, nothing is going to be given to you. You know, you have
Yeah.
to ask. There are so many people that have reached out to me. How can I shadow? Can I come onto your set? And I said, keep reaching out to me. When I find the right project that I can
Mm-hmm.
bring you on, I will bring you on. And I have so many people that have come onto my set and they have been able to get opportunities after that. So reach out to people. And
Mm-hmm.
another thing, when you're reaching out to people, one thing that I do is I don't just say, oh, can we have a Zoom link up or whatever like that.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, hey, would you mind if I Venmo or Cash App you a couple of dollars for a cup of coffee, so that way you and I can have a chat on the call, because I know
Mm-hmm.
you're so busy.
Mm-hmm.
That has worked for me 9 out of 10 times, you know,
Yeah.
because you're acknowledging that you know that this person has a very busy schedule, and you're saying, you know what, I'll even buy you a cup of coffee, you know, and
Yeah.
that is something that's really helped me out too.
So, in addition to that, what are your thoughts on mentorship and collaboration when it comes to creating? When you were starting out, did you find people that you could lean on for mentorship, or was it something where you had to kind of figure everything out?
I would not be where I am now if it wasn't for my mentor, Cheryl.
Mm-hmm.
When I was working at that production company that gave me my very first start, where I was working 1 day a week, my old production manager, I will always ask like, hey, can I help with a call sheet? Can I send a meeting? Can I do this? And it's like, no, 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 I got it. I got it. Once he left and Cheryl came in, she's a black, amazing producer, what like everything. Cheryl is everything. And she had me in every meeting. She had me doing call sheets. She had me in those pre-interviews. She pushed me.
Mhm.
She gave me so many opportunities. And when there were things that I was like, Cheryl, I don't know how to do this. Why you keep giving me these opportunities? And she said, am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes,
She
yes.
said, Kyra, no one wants to work with an asshole.
Mhm.
So if I have to choose between someone that is an asshole that has all of this experience, I'd rather choose a person that has a very get to personality, happy, just wants to help, hungry. I'd rather teach them how to do that job
Mhm.
versus someone that has all those years experience, but I don't enjoy working with them.
Mhm.
Um, so anyone, I have a no asshole policy on my sets, you know?
Mhm.
And if you're someone, a mentee that takes initiative, that's constantly asking, how can I help? Have a good attitude, I will always bring you back. I mean, and I have, for example, Jalen's not even my mentee anymore. Like now he gets hired as for DP roles.
Mhm.
Brilliant young black filmmaker, DP. Victoria, she still my mentee, but now she's getting past that where I don't even hire her as a production assistant. I just hired her as one of my lead photographers, you
Mhm.
know? So I don't just take mentees or young people and say like, okay, you're the PA and that's it. I
Mhm.
ask them questions. What do you really want to do?
Mhm.
Right? If you want to be a gaffer, I'll ask that head of department. Once this person's done helping me with my task, can they be in your department until I need them again? Because this is really what they want to do. If they want to be a director, I have them next to me the whole time. And then I'll let them know this is why I made this choice. This is why I made that choice. So I actually, really condition them so that way, once they're past, working with me, they can go to other sets and become successful. And I'm so proud of my mentees that I have now and that
That's
have
awesome.
blossomed and now are
Mhm.
no longer my mentees that I hire full
Yeah.
rates.
Yeah. And so, as far as um, character development, I just want to switch gears really quickly. When it comes to character development um, within yourself, how has being on different sets and in different spaces developed you as a person?
Hmm. One of the things is it showed me how I don't want my sets to operate.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time I was producing and a sound mixer was being so rude to my production assistant,
Mm-hmm.
and I gave him a warning. And then I called him again. I ended up calling one of my other sound mixers, because this sound mixer I never worked with. I ended up calling one of my sound mixers. I say, hey, can you come to set today? And they said, yeah. I said, perfect. And I actually fired that sound mixer that was being rude to a PA because my thing is like
Yeah.
we all have started out as production assistants, and I lead my set with respect and kindness, and I don't take rudeness at all. That's like a non-negotiable for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things. And I've also been on sets where I'm all like, yes, that's how I would love to run my set. I
Yeah.
love how everyone feels free to create, um, and that's something that's important to me. Having a safe space for the creatives, not only in front of my camera, but also in back of my camera. Because if you're not on a safe environment, how can you feel free to create? You're not
Yeah.
going to give your best
For
work
sure.
because now you're under anxiety, the whole time, and you're walking on eggshells. That's not a great environment to create.
Yep. I get that
I
because
think I
I feel
answered the question.
no, no, you did. You did for sure. I feel like when it comes to any space where we have to produce like from within, you need to have a space where you feel comfortable, like you said, to even pull that out from you.
Mhm.
My final question for you, because we are running out of time, unfortunately, is what do you think it takes for someone to be a good director? what are some traits or qualities that you find?
Um, Compassion,
Mm-hmm.
understanding, flexibility, definitely flexibility. You have to know how to pivot if things aren't um, working right. Respect, because you should always respect your crew, all the way down to a production assistant.
Mm-hmm.
Collaboration. Um, yeah, I would say those are my main things. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you, Kyra, so much for taking time out to just chat with me, to answer some questions. And I'm excited for tomorrow. I hope all goes well. Like, I
I
hope
hope I win
y'all win.
an
I really hope
Emmy.
y'all win the Emmy for sure.
And if
Yes,
I don't win
absolutely.
an Emmy, it's okay. It's such a huge honor just to even be nominated
Yeah, for sure.
for a regional Emmy. So I'm going to celebrate whether I win or not. I'm just honored to be nominated in the first place. It's my 7th year anniversary of quitting my job. So lucky 7. So that's what I'm
Yes.
going. So
Absolutely. Well, thank y'all, everybody, for tuning in and for just being a part of the conversation. We don't take it lightly that you took time. But we will see y'all soon. Well, I'll see y'all soon. Kyra may see y'all on a set at some point in life.
yes.
Yes, absolutely. But thank you
Thank you,
again, Kyra.
everyone.